to the F1 podcast. I am joined by Alan
Hello.
and David.
Hola.
Yeah, Saudi. How much of the weekend did you guys actually see?
Quali and race.
Fair enough.
Q2, Q3 and race.
So, try and keep it structured. To try. It's not going to happen, as we know.
What are you trying to say?
Practice was just practice. There was nothing, not much eventful. I was going to say there was more eventful in the F2 race, but there we go.
Must admit, I did see the F2 sprint race.
Yeah.
No, I didn't catch any of that.
Sprint race was cracking race.
Yes, it was.
Two safety cars straight away, you know.
Yeah. It was.
No, I never saw any of that.
And Q1 qualifying, we might as well jump into qualifying. Qualifying was eventful, but not eventful.
I was going to say pretty uneventful, apart from obviously the big talking point.
But
So obviously the drive shaft issue for the
for the Red Bull, yeah, and Max. What the hell is going on with is all I'm going to say is what is going on with Ferrari at the moment? Are they literally downpowering them engines?
They're just being Ferrari. We saw this last season. They can clutch defeat out the jaws of victory beautifully.
They must be downpowering their engines. They have to. To be that far behind.
I don't know if you saw that Conor Moore video I sent earlier.
I
think it sums it up nicely.
I'll have
I think I'm going to share it publicly.
Which one is it?
The one he put out a day ago.
The team meeting one?
Yeah, where he's showing him a video on his phone and the phone dies and the building power goes off.
Yeah. I saw that one. I mean, yeah, they've got to be downpowering. They have to be that far. Yes, I know Charles had the grid penalty.
Charles is also walking one hell of a tightrope now, though, because he can have no more control electronics for the rest of the year.
Oh, he's got
every single one's going to uncover penalties.
Yeah, he's got penalties coming for the rest of the year. Oh. You can see it coming. Something's going to go bang again, and that's him with another penalty. You can basically, at this point, and I'm going to say this, and it's a bold statement, that's Ferrari done for championship. For being in contention of the Constructors' Championship this year, that is Ferrari done. Unless something...
Oh, yeah. Were they at any point? I'd put Aston Martin as having a better chance than Ferrari.
But this is what I mean. Aston Martin is looking in a contention at this point.
I think for me, personally, Ferrari are mid-table. They're a mid-championship.
They can't be doing worse than McLaren. Jesus Christ.
No, something's not right there with that car.
Something's not right because they've not scored a point at all. Obviously,
on the plus side, Daniel Ricciardo still has the same number of points as they do.
Yeah.
And that's without a car.
This is what I mean. Well, you've got to think. They've had one DNF. Was it one DNF?
Yeah, one DNF.
One DNF.
One car that spent more time in the pits than the safety car.
Yeah, and then how many fucking front wings did they go? Two? Was it a front wing apiece?
One apiece, wasn't it?
One apiece.
It's like your records.
What? I mean, I'm a McLaren fan, and it's shocking. That car's just
to admit that in public.
I mean, it is shocking. Considering you think Williams have got 1 point, McLaren have none.
McLaren are sitting currently bottom of the frigging the Constructors' Championship right now.
Yeah.
That car's just a total dog at the moment. And Mercedes think they've got it fucking bad. And that's pissing me off and all. It's like, oh, the car's shit, nah, nah, nah. It's like, well, look at fucking McLaren. You know, your car's not bad. The thing is, they're sat third in the fucking constructors, and that is what is really annoying me.
Yeah, the thing is, for Merck, that isn't good.
No.
For McLaren were midfield at best. Currently they're bottom, but in a lot of ways, for Merck to not be challenging is a bigger blow to Merck. So McLaren knew they weren't going to be near the front.
No, but well, considering McLaren finished, what, fifth? Was it fifth last season? Constructors?
Without going back, I can tell you.
I think it was fifth.
Because Norris was the only Red Bull, Ferrari, or Mercedes driver to get a podium last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Literally the only one.
I'm sure it was. Oh yeah, I need to get that up as well. I forgot. Very unprepared.
He's unprepared, folks. He needs to get it up.
And it's just, it's just like,
I mean, you think Piastri's higher up than Norris. Yeah, okay, they're sitting 19th and 20th. That's only because Piastri finished higher.
Yeah, hang on. Bottas finished last at this race, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bottas technically finished last.
Yeah.
And, you know, qualifying was just...
once qualifying was just qualifying, there was nothing special.
Apart from Q2 where the Max's drive shaft went...
Yeah. I mean, yes, there was a bit of a battle for pole. You know. If you look at the timings, there wasn't much in it between the top three.
No. Let me go back.
I mean, I think just in the top 9, it was literally a second between them for the top 9.
Yeah, McLaren did finish 5th last year. They got pipped by Alpine. And that's another point. Alpine seem nowhere. Really? I mean...
Well, they're doing all right. They're 5th in constructors at the moment.
I mean, obviously because where did Ocon...
I don't know where he finished.
Gasly finished 9th and Ocon finished 8th.
Ocon was 8th.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, K-Mag got a point. Hulkenberg, 12th.
Yuki fighting well to be in the middle of them too.
What's up with that's the thing. What's up with the AlphaTauri as well? Honestly, I expected De Vries to be a little bit better than...
Too inexperienced driver. I know Yuki's in his 2nd season, but still.
I wouldn't say... Yeah, but I kind of really wouldn't say De Vries was inexperienced, considering...
No, he just collected race suits.
Considering what... I don't know, was that a good move for De Vries and AlphaTauri? I mean, De Vries actually doesn't have a manager. De Vries does all the negotiations himself. He's not managed by anybody. So it's him.
Was it a good move? Well, I guess you mean the whole blowing Alpine out the water. Now, based on the results so far, you probably would say no, but at the same time, probably better for Alpine though, because I think Gasly's a safer bet than De Vries would have been.
Yeah. Considering...
Oh, old Oscar Piastri's going to be kicking himself, isn't he?
I
And the
mean,
one person who's not going to be kicking himself, who we lambasted like hell before this season, is Mr. Third Place up there.
you've got to think. The we basically said that, was it a good move for Alonso? And whatever they have done to that car, you're thinking,
But
well,
you could have said that about Hamilton when he switched from, obviously back in them days, McLaren. When he
McLaren.
switched when he switched
But the
to
difference
Mercedes.
being, I think he had a very good idea because they knew the new engine wheels were coming in. And I think at that point, Mercedes knew they had a good launch on that engine.
Yeah.
But everybody sat there criticising, it's going to be a bad move. You're jumping down to a lower league team. But it worked for him. And it's the same with Alonso. We all sat there and said, I'll be admit, I thought if he goes through Aston Martin, that's it, he's going to retire at the end of the season.
Yeah.
He still may retire. There's no guarantee he won't. But he's got a car.
Honest to God, I think the form he's on now, if that form stays with him this entire season, he won't leave the sport. I think Hamilton will fuck off. I think Hamilton will fuck off before Alonso does.
Well, according to Hamilton's own words, he's until he wins his 8th, isn't he? That's his words.
That was his words. Whether he'll retire.
No, and he's still trying to race around at 78.
Me personally, I don't think he'll do another season after this year.
Yeah, but Total said, and Total's words were, if Hamilton, like I say, another year or two, and then perhaps Total wouldn't have qualms about him looking for another team to.
That's it.
And I think
it goes back to what I've said on this podcast before, though, doesn't it? What's Merck's option? If he says I'm gone, I think Mercedes have an issue.
Yeah, they're screwed. They haven't got anybody.
Because Norris is tied into a contract till 2026?
Yeah.
Which he's probably kicking himself over right now, but you never know, that might come good.
And they can't. It's not like they could chuck Mick out there.
Mick wouldn't be ready.
That's what I mean.
You're looking at either buying Norris out of a very expensive contract.
Yeah.
Which I reckon they would do.
Or do they try and pick someone like Leclerc?
Don't think Leclerc would go.
I don't think Leclerc would go.
If he has another season like the last one at Ferrari?
I mean, Leclerc's not happy.
I think if he has another season like the last one at Ferrari, if the Ferrari continues to just... Well, I mean, let's be honest, last season they had the championship and threw it away.
They did.
Don't forget, 2 races into last season where we are now, Red Bull had double DNF the first race and Max had DNF the second race.
Yeah.
And we sat here talking about how Ferrari were going to run away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Red Bull weren't going to give them any competition because Red Bull couldn't get their act together.
Mm.
Boy, how that one spun on us.
Yes, it did.
So if another season happens where Ferrari just continue to self-destruct and Mercedes went wafting a nice little deal and a bit of cash under Leclerc's nose, I could see him just taking a chance.
I know this is going to sound wrong. I kind of would go for Sainz rather than Leclerc.
Personally, I would too, but I think we're in a minority there. I think Leclerc's the solid debate. Sainz is the good option. Sainz is the fun option.
Yeah.
I like Sainz. I like Sainz a
Yeah.
lot. It's another. Plus, I always like a racing heritage name. Whereas, okay, it wasn't all in F1. I still say to this day, it's weird not seeing that name slapped down the side of a Focus going through a forest at 100 mile an hour.
Hmm.
But he's making it work.
Yeah. See, because Sainz,
But, you know.
Sainz is having the better look at the moment. I would
Sainz
say.
had a habit middle of last year, though. He threw it away a couple of times.
Yeah, and then
He had a little.
one of them he couldn't.
Oh, I'm not including the car failure it detonated itself at Austria. That's not what I'm on about.
Yeah, he couldn't.
There
Oh
was,
yeah,
there
I
was a
know.
good. There was a run. Was it Australia? He was out first lap. Was sort of a 50-50. Got it wrong. And then wasn't it Ferrari's home race? He threw it at the gravel trap,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is not a good thing to do in front of your home crowd, in front of the home crowd of the team.
No.
So he
And
just had a little bit of a. I don't know. Maybe he just needed to calm down. I think when he got the win at Silverstone, he got the good result. Was it a win at Silverstone? I seem to recall.
I'd have to go back to the archives and look at the results.
I seem to remember he got a Silverstone victory, and that sort of seemed to settle him. Yeah, Carlos Sainz won Silverstone last year from Perez.
Yeah,
We should remember that race, shouldn't we? It was the one say with
that was where
Guan Yu took flying lessons.
was it Guan Yu Zhou?
Zhou won it in the.
Yeah, Guan Yu Zhou. Because that was where.
Zhou in the Alpha.
Yeah, because
In
Russell.
between the two barriers.
Yeah, I hope they fix that this year.
But anyway, that's us rambling off topic again. But,
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make is that I'm going to be saying, to me, Leclerc would be a safer bet.
Yeah.
You give Leclerc a capable car and he will deliver you good results. That I have absolutely no doubt about.
Mm.
Just right now, Ferrari are really not managing to deliver that.
And another going to a point, I expected this, but I don't think Lewis is happy about basically Russell hammering him, seeming to outperform him again.
Yeah, well,
This-
Lewis is obviously trying different things. I mean, he's just. I saw in the past week that he's let that Angela go, hasn't he?
Yes.
Whether
See,
she's left, whether he's sacked, I honestly do not know.
So from what I can gather, she's left to look at a new adventure. What that adventure is, nobody knows.
no.
Please turn up as Russell's aide. That would be the ultimate sort of.
So
But I'd also heard that she just basically the fact that she probably wants to spend more time with her family. You know,
Yeah, that could be a part.
this
that
is the
could be a
thing.
large
You know
part.
what I mean? She's been with Hamilton as his trainer for 7 years. She's always for the good majority of what are we talking, March?
You basically got 8-9 months of the year.
Yeah.
She'll be away from home.
Exactly. And that's probably taking a little bit of toll, the fact that she never actually gets to spend time with, with kids or whatever, with family and stuff. And it's just like, that's
You think a lot.
a long time to do what she's
Oh, yeah.
done. And yeah, that's what I sort of heard.
But that's another big change for Hamilton, which a lot of this.
it's going to have a massive impact on him because obviously he's now got to find something new.
Yeah.
Or I reckon it could be a case of he's got somebody new. This could be a decision that was made months ago, and he's obviously got somebody shadowing her and things like that. So that way, it's not a major jump in. It's what you're doing now, sort of thing. It's a nice progression for them.
Hmm.
But again, it's still going to mess with his head because he's not going to have that same person that's pushed him forward. It's always been there
Yeah.
through, whether it's doing conferences, walks, trading, you name it. She was there right by his side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was more of the team than what anybody else was.
She'd been with him through the good times and been there when, the likes
Things
of.
didn't quite work out.
Yeah, well, we'll go back to Abu Dhabi. Let's not talk about that subject again, but, stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's.
She will be missed.
Yeah, it's come at the wrong time for him. And
I think a lot of that might just push him to the end of this season to say, you know what, you're both messing about with that electric Dakar or whatever it is he was.
well, he's still got that though, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, he might leave F1 and go and do that.
Can't
A
be,
bit more of us.
can't be as bad as Button going into NASCAR, but that's for another story. You know.
I
that's
think
for-
fair play to him.
Well,
I tell you what,
Kimmy's done it.
was it? I don't know if it was on this podcast. I was talking to somebody about it. And I said simply, "You're at the level them lads are at. Somebody offers you a go.
Yeah.
You're gonna say yes, aren't you? For the sake of, you can say you've done it.
Hmm.
Look at Juan Pablo Montoya.
Hey, look,
He left F1 to go into NASCAR. And how many years did he spend at NASCAR?
oh yeah, look, how was it? I need to get this right now. 'Cause I remember there's only one driver who's won. Is it the F1 World Championship? Was it the IndyCar? And was it Le Mans?
I
Pass.
can't remember.
I
Might
don't
be.
know.
And that was Mansell.
Yeah.
I know he's the only one because Alonso keeps having to go at the IndyCar, doesn't he? And
Yeah. Before we
I mean,
obviously,
for me,
we get into the race as well, did you guys see that thing after the race? The Villeneuve Peroni thing?
no, I
No.
haven't. I might. I've
Seriously,
have a look at that sometime,
give
but
it, honest to God, give it a watch. Yeah, without going too much into it, it reveals. Put it this way, you never expect to see footage of a bad accident. I know that sounds stupid, but
No, I know what you mean.
you know what I mean? You've never actually, like, up close, you never saw Senna getting
No.
killed. Well, that is a real. The whole Villeneuve Peroni thing is a real eye opener. So yeah, I would give it a watch. Yeah, I watched it. It was about nearly 2 hours long.
Because I'd seen Sky advertising and that's why I knew it was happening. But yeah, just after the race, I had other. But I'll give it a watch at some point. It's on the list.
Yeah, I would give it a watch because it's very interesting. Do expect a lot of subtitles from, because there's quite a few Italian speakers on there who can't seem to speak fucking English. It's a bit like fucking DST and fucking Bonotto. Fuck me. Oh. But what did you guys actually think of the race?
great start. Great start from Alonso.
Oh yeah, great.
In general.
In general, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was predictable. I mean, I've maybe got a little bit of bias there, you know, as the number one Perez fan in this grouping.
He's done it. He's done it again. You know, it's a street circuit. He's proved himself on street circuits.
He did exactly what he needed to for the team, which is he kept it in front and he did just enough to keep Max behind him.
And that restart was fantastic. Was spot on from him.
Yeah. But the race,
it was actually
fun and games. I mean, the safety car I have issues with, but.
Which safety car? The one where they brought the safety car out because of Stroll?
The one safety car when they brought Stroll they both took out for Stroll's car. Considering Stroll's car was so far off the track, I'm surprised he didn't have to pay to get back in.
Yeah, I know.
And
it was well clear of the track.
And the reason that was apparently, according to the sensors,
it was on track.
It was on track.
Yeah.
It was surely one of the 2,500 cameras they've got around the track could have confirmed or denied that instance.
Yeah, but it was better for them to chuck it out rather than to not chuck it out and something go wrong.
Well,
Well,
they
they did say that they wanted to be safe. They rather be safe than sorry, which I understand.
Hmm.
They got all the cameras and everything else. They're watching what we're watching, and they can clearly see that car was off the track completely.
Yeah.
But obviously, according to their data,
It wasn't.
it's shown on track, so therefore they've got to react to what they've been shown on the data.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I get why they did what they did. I mean, yeah, I feel so sorry for Alonso. I really do. How far left do you want to park that fucking thing?
It's obviously becoming a thing this year where it's more difficult to place the cars on the grid.
Yeah.
I know, but
I mean, obviously, Ocon got it.
yeah,
in the
Ocon got
first
it at
place.
Bahrain,
Hmm.
but I wonder if, like was said, had he done, because he was doing burnouts to get his tyres up or whatever, and then when he'd placed it, but yeah, you could when they
Yeah.
were onto the onboard of who was behind him? Sainz?
Would he be Sainz behind? I think so, yeah.
Who started behind him?
In a
Sainz
second.
did.
Qualifying. Russell and Sainz, it'd be Sainz. Because when they went on board with Sainz, you could see how far left he was.
Oh, you can see from his own on board that he was a long way over because you could see the white line of the box to his right hand side.
So I take it none of you saw. Excuse me.
No, none of us saw that.
Oh, Christ. Did you see the build up? Any of the build up?
No, literally like 2 minutes.
Did you? Well, did you hear the national anthem?
No.
It sounded a bit out of tune to me.
Me, I was sat here cringing my ass off. I was like, wow, where did you get them instruments from?
It was literally as if they practiced that song for about 2 seconds
Yeah.
before being told you're playing.
Did you see Russell on the grid during the anthem? He was trying not to laugh.
There was a few trying not to laugh at it.
Yeah, that was it. I would be embarrassed. Oh my god, it was awful. It was just so cringy, and then there was like we say, Russell and a couple of others just obviously they have to look professional, but you could see he wanted to burst out laughing because he was, and you could see it in his face was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
It was literally as if they, as I said,
yeah,
they've been told you're performing the national anthem. You've got 2 minutes to go get yourself sorted and practice.
yeah.
Shame I missed it then.
Oh, it was bad. I'm sure that you could possibly find it somewhere on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll possibly have a look.
Because I imagine there'll be quite a few camera phones clips or something somewhere. But honest to God, oh my God. I mean, people thought that Sam Ryder was bad doing the friggin' national anthem. That just topped it. That was real bad. And I thought, oh my God, I would, if I was the ruler of, whatever they do, however they rule over there, I would be so embarrassed.
Don't forget it's the Saudis, so somebody's probably lost a head for it.
But no,
They've lost more. I think one person's lost more than a head.
You know what I mean? You're out on a world stage, and that's that's there to represent your country and the
Yeah.
country's anthem, and yeah, that's the best you could do, sort of thing. It was, the Bahrain one was a lot better, but it was just real shocking. But going back to like Alonso's start, yes, considering he was too far over, he got a bloody good start.
Yeah. He
Well,
knew he knew what he wanted to do. He knew what he had to be done.
Yeah.
I think he kind of knew. I think he'd also know he wasn't going to beat the Red Bull in a straight fight. He wasn't going to win unless something happened to Perez. But he was not going to let him walk away from it easily.
No.
No. And this is the thing that, okay, I know they do all the onboard, you can go on onboards. If you're
I've actually not tried any of that yet.
if you're a Sky customer and all the battle channels and stuff like that, which I don't have access to because I can't do that. And
I do, but I must admit I've never used it yet.
And I feel that sort of service is kind of, detracting from the main thing, because you're not really seeing much of the battles this so far. Because there definitely has been battles. But
there's battles further on down the grid this race.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you've got the director trying to keep an eye on everything, and it's not always easy. He's going to miss things. That's why replays are a thing.
Yeah. There's too many. There's been too many sort of replays this season as well already.
I mean, I'm lucky. I can sit there and watch it on my tablet and my phone. So in theory, what I could do is actually have the main thing up on my phone.
Yeah.
And then I can on my tablet and then sit there and switch between what I want on my phone.
Yeah. But I mean, fair play to Haas with K-Mag. Alfa Romeo, kind of.
Had a bit of a nothing race. I say
Yeah.
Bottas finished dead last.
One lap down.
Showing some progress, kind of midfield, but nothing. Considering the beginning of last season, Bottas was sort of knocking around the bottom of the points quite happily and was looking almost a threat.
Yeah.
Now, once again, that could come down to what I said last week. Maybe it's not the case that they're doing terribly. Maybe it's just that a couple of other teams have jumped them.
Well, that is a possibility.
Aston Martin were probably second to worst team last year.
Yeah.
I'd only put Williams behind them. This year, both those two teams even made good jumps forward.
Well, yeah.
Aston's case, incredibly good jump forward. But even Williams.
Yeah, Williams Williams are not currently sitting at the bottom of the table on the Constructors' Championship.
I'll tell you what, Sargent's not doing a bad job.
Well, yeah, but Albon kind of couldn't help that. His brakes just went, and that's another.
Oh, yeah.
That was the weirdest thing. That was another weird thing. The fact that even though his brakes had failed, he still honked that car down the start-finish straight.
And I thought he was going to pit.
Everybody did. But
Yeah.
I think they were trying to see whether or not they could actually work out the problem
Before bringing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was too far gone, so therefore they had to pit him. From fair play to him. You're going to give it a go.
Yeah.
Now I always go back to what I always say was when I was brake failure. He shouldn't have retired. He just finished first.
But he's
He
not.
before everybody else.
This is the thing. It's a weird system because it's not really. aren't the system in the F1 car is different to a normal road car?
Yes, it is. They don't
Yeah.
have any servo assistance.
They have brake by wire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why that. I think that's what it was. I think that was it was a brake by wire failure. And then you had Perez complaining about a spongy pedal? No, long pedal or whatever it
You
was.
had a couple of people went towards that. I think just it's such a fast circuit with a couple of really hard braking areas. I think it was reaching the end. Plus, it's the longest track of the year.
One of the longest tracks, yeah.
It is the
No, it
longest
is the
circuit
longest.
of the year,
It's
isn't
the
it?
longest.
Oh, there you go.
Longest circuit of the
But
year.
So I think it's just literally a case of towards the end, some of them were starting to literally just run out of brakes.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think of the changes on them corners? Not much changes though.
I didn't realize he'd made any changes. I obviously missed all that build up. I didn't notice anything.
Yeah, they made one of the corners a bit tighter.
Right.
20.
That one everyone kept missing then.
20. Isn't it where they go from the second DRS into the third DRS? You got that sort of
tunnel
fast
bit.
left and right funnel sort of bit.
Yeah.
But they've made that a bit more tighter.
That's got tighter.
But did you notice
Perez and Max both going over it?
Literally.
Yeah, because he probably couldn't. It's because that probably was his brakes. They both did it one after the other, but they got away with it because.
Well, they knew that they had 3 before they got told off, so I think sometimes they were just doing it because they knew they were only on 2 or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, like I say, Leclerc started 12th.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, fair play. He got up to 7th, but yeah, the Ferrari just, like I said, the Ferrari just seems to be powered down. Just doesn't seem quick as it did.
Even Max, we all thought Max would, bomb it straight to that front, from starting 15th right to the front. But even he actually admitted to actually get there was a lot tougher.
Oh yeah, it took him time.
I think the safety car sort of helped him because
he brought everything back together.
He brought everything back together, but they got a cheap pit stop basically.
I have one comment about him, and this is going to pain me to say it, but he needs to stop being a whiny little bastard. And his fucking father, and all. Look.
Does that have something to do with the fastest lap by any chance?
No, not the fastest lap comment. It was the comments it was the comments he made afterwards. Was the fact I'm not here to finish second. And it's like, look, Max, yes, Perez helped you out a lot last season. Give him a fucking, race win. And stop being just such a... I watched the comment where we said it and I just instantly turned it off. I thought, Max, no.
At one point, I was half expecting them to tell Perez to slow down to let Verstappen catch up. So because there was that call where they told Perez to...
Yeah, they were telling him to slow down. Yeah, they were. And Perez...
the amount they were telling him to slow down would not have allowed Max to catch him. It was not. No. I think they were just purely going into, this is as slow as you can go, you will still finish ahead, but just don't stress the car.
Yeah.
We are still too early in the season to go just pushing the car hard for no sake.
And then a few laps later, I was going, can I push? Yes, you're free to push.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. It was a case, I'm sure that was a call to basically slow down a bit more, let Max catch up.
I don't think they were going to give him enough room to let him pass. I'll say the amount of time they told him to slow down wouldn't have caught Max right up to him. Might have got him into sort of a little bit of slipstream.
But, yeah, no.
I think if they had done that, I think a lot of people would have stated Red Bull.
Oh yeah, Perez would have been real pissed because it's like, look, I've put the fucking work in here. You know what I mean? I've been leading for the majority.
What do you mean? Well, basically, apart from was it first 4 laps?
This is why I said the majority.
Hmm.
I didn't use the word entire. I said majority.
But going back to cheap pit stop, of course, the one person who won from the safety car was Alonso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to
Oh,
take
yeah,
his
100%.
penalty under a safety car. He took the penalty and still came out third.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, that's
because of the elapse. Is it the pit stop time gets reduced?
Yeah. It got reduced from about 21 seconds down to about 10, 11 seconds, you know.
yeah, because the cars are going that much slower around the track. They're not gaining on you the same while you're stationary.
Yeah. I mean, I know Russell was getting frustrated with the engineers and everything else because they're not giving the information he needs.
That was funny.
Yeah.
When
He's already served it. Shit.
It was a case of fuck.
Yeah, but as he said, why aren't you guys telling me? I need to know
Yeah.
this information.
That's what I mean.
And it's true, he does. I mean, as soon as he got told that anyway, he sort of left Hamilton in his rearview mirror.
Yeah. It was just a case of, right, I'm going. Fuck it. And I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, Ocon and Gasly had a pretty solid race. You know, Nico, as per usual, decided to wind up Brundle on the grid walk.
I told you before I said that I just love when Sky rattle Nico out because it's all the Hamilton fans. I'm not sure what to make of this new member of the team yet.
Bernie? She's the ex bloody Aston Martin
Yes,
race
I
engineer.
noticed because Crofty can't mention her without saying ex Aston Martin.
I know.
I got that from the first time, but he was saying 14,000 more times.
But
to the point where I was hearing that in my pissing sleep.
Yeah, but she's. I reckon it's quite good to have her on the pundits because she knows. She can clarify to people strategies and stuff. You know, she can make it easier for people to understand certain things.
She's saying the likes of Karen and DeResta didn't, eh?
Who?
Chandrock and Paul DeResta.
Not really. Yeah, but Kareem's still there. But
yeah. It is a nice, interesting touch to have her on because, as you said, it gives you better insight into what's in their mindsets, who's calling the strategies properly.
Yeah.
You know, how the strategies are worked out, who actually has the final call over the strategies, who makes certain calls for certain things, you know. So you do get a better insight because, obviously, yes, don't get me wrong, you do have the ex-drivers on there, which, yes, they have their own experience. But having her on, you actually get a lot more because she's literally telling you, it'll be down to this person.
Yeah.
Or it's a group decision, it's a team decision, who then gets put onto this part, and you get a better insight as to how the team actually run.
Yeah, because I noticed that during the practice sessions, because she was in the commentary box, and it was actually actually made practice a little bit more interesting, because of the fact that, you know, they were asking her certain things, and she could actually provide the answer to
rather than going, we'll have to look into this, or we'll have to look up on this bit. And
yeah, she was actually giving them the answers. So, like I said, it was quite interesting. Where's David gone?
I'm still here. I'm just listening to you two.
Sorry, I was just getting a little bit of feedback, and I don't know why. That was all. I don't know who it was from.
Don't know.
No idea. Sorry, I'm not hearing anything. So
no, nor am I. But you know, it does give you a better insight.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe she'll get a bit more confident with time. Maybe it'll just be.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think it's only first 2
Yeah.
races actually being in the spotlight rather than behind a camera where you can't see her, sort of thing.
And can I just say one other thing?
What?
Fair play to Oscar Piastri
Jeez.
for and McLaren for and Norris for letting him pass, obviously. But he's proved something.
What?
He's got a lot to prove, obviously. Now, Norris couldn't get past Sargent. As soon as they released Piastri, he was gone.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, well, I'm not. Yeah, but honestly, I'm not surprised. Piastri didn't see much of Bahrain.
No, but
No, Norris was inside the pit lane.
I know.
I say Norris saw more of his pits than he did the actual track, didn't he?
Between him and Ocon still serving penalties from Bahrain.
Christ.
But I think they made the right call there by letting him get past. They were able to gain that extra. You know, he finished a couple places above Norris. You know, he's got the car.
One.
Well, he finished 2 places above Norris, didn't he? In the race.
Well, 2, yeah, technically. But he was only, well, it was 1 car. It was only Logan Sargent that he'd passed.
But if Norris couldn't get past him,
Yeah, the problem is, though, Oscar Piastri and Logan Sargent had raced together, so, you know. I don't know what it took. I don't know what's up with Norris at the minute, because he just doesn't seem on it. Is it because, see, for all, I mean, I don't want to say it, but
you're going to anyway.
I'm going to say it. Did them getting rid of Danny and the way that they did get rid of Danny, has that kind of put a little bit of a shitter on Norris? Because they were getting on well.
You can say that, yes, but I think you have that with any. You can have that with any team. You know, you can have 2 drivers that get on really well.
And you've kind of
Yeah.
and you've kind of got to think that Piastri was just sort of brought in, and all the fuss that was made around him, and
But to be honest, he's had plenty of time to get over it and get used to the fact he's got a new teammate.
Yeah. It won't be the first time in his career where he's had teammates change and
oh yeah, I know that, but I'm just I was just wondering that maybe them 2 don't get on. Well, that was like the whole Gasly and Ocon situation, but apparently
They're getting on really well.
that's what I mean. Apparently that's not the case.
Get your head out of Drive to Survive and actually look at the racing. You might get a very different.
Yeah.
I'm not getting my head into Drive to Survive, really. It's, I mean, even though I just don't right now the way that Drive to Survive did make Zach Brown look, made him look like a total dickhead. It really did.
But that's what they're going to do. You know, TV series like that are going to make somebody out to be the bad guy in it.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's how else are they going to get the ratings? They've got to do something to be able to get the ratings and get viewers in. So therefore, they're going to, they're going to cause controversy and things like that. Every TV series, every TV show will do it.
Yeah.
They've got to have something to keep the fans, to keep people hooked.
But
therefore, they're going to keep coming back and back and back, and it's going to change each time. They did it last year with Red Bull.
Yeah, but I'm still very disappointed in the fact that Drive to Survive did not highlight Japan at all. That what happened in Japan, that should have been highlighted, and not this. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go
but
to the same race, next episode, let's go back to that race.
But then you've also got to think, hang on, they've also got to show their final products, do a viewing of their final product before actually airing it. Before, and then they got to make more edits, because how do you know that, or we don't know what's been said behind closed doors about that situation. They may have been told, you can't show that, you can't make us look to be bad, so therefore please don't show this, and this, because we don't want that bad image on us.
Which then, that's wrong of the FIA or whoever to basically say that, because that was an issue and that had that in previous times had cost lives.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. But obviously, if the way in which they'll look at it is, if they would have been told, right, if you show this, we will sue, or we'll do this, or we'll do that. We don't know what's gone on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
For them not to show that bit, we all know how important it is from our, from previous races ourselves. But obviously, as I said, behind closed doors, you don't know what they've been told they can show and what they can't show.
No.
It's the same with anything like that, whether it's.
But the thing was,
Grand Tour, Top Gear, things like that. They can only show certain things because they're.
Yeah, but they showed the frigging Guan Yu Zhou crash, God knows how many times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. But obviously, because of the controversy that surrounded Japanese Grand Prix, they didn't want that to reflect badly on them.
Well,
that sort of crash, people are going to be interested because they think, oh, that sort of crash can happen each race or every few races, that sort of thing. So it's getting people drawn in by that sort of aspect of it.
Yeah, but
whereas they don't want the aspect of the publicity, the bad press, and everything else because of a track that they knew they cocked up on. They don't want that.
Yeah, well,
so it swings and roundabouts. They want the publicity. This is what happens. This is how dangerous our sport is. But they don't want to show the negative side.
Well, they'd have been kind of fucked if that crash had killed him. If
they would have shown it full stop.
Exactly. This is what I mean. If that crash had have, I'm not saying it was gonna, but if that crash had have killed him, then they wouldn't have shown that as much as they did.
Well, no. And that's why when the crash actually happened, they weren't going to show replays until they knew he was okay.
Yeah. Well, that's
always been a TV.
That's always been a thing.
Show.
Yeah.
They always try to never show anything like that. Like I say, Maurice used to talk about the Senna incident very well of that situation. You don't know what to say. You don't know. You don't want to show it, but you don't want to say, "Oh, he's okay," because you don't know. But you don't want to. Instill fear. Yeah. And it's a very difficult tightrope.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It was kind of like the whole fucking. It was like the Grosjean incident. Going back to that. That was nuts. But Guan Yu Zhou was lucky there.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot worse.
Oh yeah.
But apart from that, going completely tangent, sidetracked again.
Hey, that's just what we do.
If we didn't, we wouldn't be us.
Exactly.
Might as well close out, actually. You got it.
We've forgotten one thing.
Yes, I know we haven't. Yes, but I'm just wondering if you've got any final thoughts before we go into this, because I've not looked at the results. I myself didn't want to see it until it came to it.
I didn't look at it until we started the podcast, so I've got it open in front of me.
Well, that's the thing.
But
I haven't. I've got the Constructors' Championship open.
Any closing thoughts? Who's going to take the fight to Red Bull? That's what as much as I'm enjoying seeing Red Bull having on the top, I would like to see them get some competition, but at the moment it looks like it's going to be a certain
Aston.
Spaniard in a green Red Bull doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
I
say.
think you nailed it on the head there.
Yeah, I say it would be Aston Martin
Yeah.
that's going to take the fight to him.
Oh yeah. At the moment, certainly there's a year of development to go yet, but
Oh yeah, but they've definitely done something very well. I mean, have you got anything to add?
No, I think David said it perfectly there.
Fair enough. So, the moment I've not been waiting for. You see in front of me? Here is our F1 fantasy. You know, it's just telling you got your next race. As you can see, I'm going to click on this live. And I'm going to go into the league. You fucking beauty. I'm still on top.
like quite a man.
Wow!
Yeah.
What
Me
the
and Alan are
heck?
now very close in second and third. I
Yeah,
made some good ground on Alan that
you
race.
did. Perez and Alonso helped you out and all. And
Yeah, that was my
Sainz.
twist. Having my 3 times on Sainz didn't do me any harm either.
No. What did Alan get that then? Leclerc, Max. He had 2 times down on Norris. And Alonso and Gasly. How the hell have I jumped that big? Ah, right.
Because
I put my 3 times on Max, 2 times on
times on Alonso,
Alonso,
and you got Red Bull as one of your cars.
and Bottas lost me 2. But then Ocon and Gasly both got points.
Still early days though.
Aye, still
Oh,
early days.
aye.
See how much he wallops us by the end of it.
Yeah, but this is about the only thing I can fucking beat you to.
That is also a valid point.
If that's the case. I mean, coming up, obviously, the live stream will have gone out before this. We're going to do Silverstone, I
We're going
believe.
to put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah. So one of them two are probably going to walk away with this, whereas I'm probably going to have my usual. But
Well, judging on championship so far, I think Alan's well ahead. He's a long time finished championship. I had a quick look.
I've had a quick look. So I'm currently first. You're currently 4th.
4.
yeah,
But you've got like 100 points more than me.
so yeah, have you guys actually used any of your transfers
Yes.
for the
Yes.
fantasy league?
Yes.
See,
I've just done it now.
See, that's
I
the
did
thing.
it before. I did it before Saudi.
That's the thing. I haven't yet. I've not decided to use a transfer yet. I might.
I very quickly subbed in a certain Spaniard.
But I've actually had a look at one of the boost cards or one of the wild cards that you can have, and one of them you can actually use it as the transfers where you're not capped,
Yeah.
so you can have whoever you want, whatever team you want, and you're not capped.
I'll sort that out between a race. And yeah, that was quite interesting to see that score. To be honest, that's why I said I hadn't seen it.
Still early days, don't you worry.
I know it's early days, and I'm not worried because if Alonso can keep on that performance, and I can manage to get things right, I might just wallop you for once.
Don't happen very often, people.
No, it doesn't.
Why do you think he's milking it so much?
Exactly. But we're gonna end this one here. So this podcast will be out on Friday. Yes, on the Friday as usual. Either this week or race week. Be this week.
On Raw Seek.
It's one of them. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Support the channel. Links are in the description. And thank you to these two fellas for joining for the podcast.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
So
I'll see you on the track.
yeah. So we shall see you next time for, oh god, it's Austria, isn't it? It's Australia.
Australia, yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be a interesting one,
You come from the land down under.
and it's gonna be an early start in it. That one.
Yep.
6 a.m.
Oh, lovely. So yeah, until then.
Adios, amigos.
Badonka-donk!
Finally. Goodbye for now.